The Subway Postgame Show is sponsored by Subway, showing the world how great a fresh-made sandwich can taste. Subway, eat fresh.
Hi, everybody. Jim Nance. Welcome to the Subway Postgame Show here on CBS from our Fifth Avenue studios. Mike Ditka, Craig James are here, and the Giants have won the NFC home field rights all the way through, if they make it there, to the NFC Championship game, closing out the regular season with 5 straight wins. They'll get a bye week and then host in the divisional round. A victory, if they get a victory, would go on to the NFC Championship game and host again. What a performance by the Giants.
Well, it's ironic because you look at the game all the way through the game, it looked like a defensive struggle. Both defenses playing good. The last 2 minutes, all heck broke loose. You got points flying everywhere. I lose my bet too, which bothers me. But the thing, Kerry Collins, what a great day he had. You got to give him a lot of credit. He hung in there, and Tiki Barber's the key to their offense. These guys make it go. Ike Carrier made some good catches. He had a couple drops. And Armani Toomer had a big game. 193 yards.
Career day.
That was just a friendly wager.
Yeah, he's buying dinner tonight.
He's buying dinner.
$100
I tell you though, what they need to get friendly with is the film room over there. New York Giants need to spend this time that they have off now. They need to go in and really study Jacksonville's defensive game plan against them today. Because down the road, everybody else is going to do the same thing that Jacksonville did today early in the first half. We talked about it at halftime here. We were saying how the line has got, the zone blitz is hurting them. That nickel defense, getting to them with the defensive backs, that's what they're going to do down the road against them.
The Giants with 12 wins. The last time they had 12 wins was 1990 when they went on to win the Super Bowl in Tampa. Let's go back out to Giant Stadium with Armin Katayan.
Coach, considering your guarantee a month ago, this has to be a terribly gratifying moment for you.
Well, it really is. This team, you know, they found a spark. They found a life. They got a lot of fight in them right now. I've never been around a team that's played as hard all the way down the wire as this group.
Kerry Collins, just the beginning of the fourth quarter, you went up and talked to some of the players, said now is the time to do it. They certainly responded.
Well, they did. And, you know, Kerry made some big plays coming down there. And, you know, our guys, you know, Kerry, they'll rally for Kerry. And it was a time and point in the game that our offense needed to make something happen. We needed to control the ball and put points on the board.
Congratulations, Coach. Great effort.
So again, the Giants close out the regular season with 5 straight wins. Meanwhile, the Jags season is over at 7-9. This was a team that hosted the AFC title game a year ago, losing to Tennessee on their home field. 7-9 after a 14-2 season a year ago. Fred Taylor's streak of 100-yard performances ends at 9 in a row. He was held to 52 yards before being injured. The Giants on the season allowed only one 100-yard rusher. That was Eddie George. What about the Jags season?
Well, you know, I watched the Jags today. The Giants beat them at their game. They had time of possession. They had number of first downs. They controlled the football, and that's what the Jags like to do, and they don't do it right now. When they get Taylor out of the game, they go to the passing game, and to me, it's a hit or miss, that's all.
And they didn't have Jimmy Smith in there to begin.
Yeah, it hurt,
I mean,
yeah.
that really hurt them a lot. But I think right now Jacksonville's problem is the salary cap situation. $36 million over for next year already. But I will say this. Think back to several weeks ago when we all sitting right here, and most people around the country were talking about how Jacksonville had lost at the time Coughlin had lost his football team. No. They were splintered and all. I think he did a nice job of getting them back on track and getting them focused and playing pretty good down the backstretch.
Well, I never saw him more animated than I saw him on the sideline today. He was very animated.
He wanted that 500 season.
I've never
doesn't get it. McCardell with 11 catches, 131 yards to lead the way. Mark Brunell had a chance to visit with our Bonnie Bernstein.
Mark Brunell, first time in 5 seasons you haven't finished with a winning record. How much does it have to do with the fact that you lost Fred Taylor and Jimmy Smith in this game?
Well, certainly they're 2 weapons that you know, we like to have, and that was unfortunate today. We need those guys in games like this, and they got banged up a little bit, but you know, the guys kept fighting. We did some good things at the end, but it wasn't enough.
Knowing your personality, I know you want to try to take something positive out of a not-so-positive situation. What do you say to these guys when you get in the locker room?
Well, I think, you know, we went through a lot of adversity this year. You know, we had a lot of injuries and lost some games that were very difficult for us. The guys hung in there. We came together as a team, and we really played well together. And it's too bad because we got some great guys with some great character, guys that work hard and play some good football.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Brunell with 2 late touchdown passes in that game, 262 yards passing, but the Jags come up 3 short to the Giants, who again win the NFC home field advantage throughout the playoffs. More on the Subway postgame show in a moment.
You remember Jared from Subway? Turns out he's inspired a lot of people.
He's still looking good to show you the way. His name is Jared, and he'll lead you to Subway. That's where it goes, along with the rest. For 7 sandwiches with 6 grams of fat or less.
What an inspiration. Subway. Eat fresh.
Notice the stylization typical of neoclassic columns. Each of the capitals contains
Is that real gold, Mr. Stern?
nearly 11 pounds of gold leaf.
Next, please.
E-Trade Bank doesn't have expensive branches, so our Money Market Plus account pays you a higher rate than many CDs without tying up your money.
What more could you possibly want?
Get 6.25% APY. Call 888-609-BANK.
Superstitious? It's a little bit strong. I mean, I do whatever I have to do to help out the team. Let's say you got a tie game, full count. Nobody's on. If I can eat a whole hot dog before the runner gets to first base, then he's coming home. Case of high-scoring games, Rolaids.
Rolaids starts to neutralize acid in less than 10 seconds, getting you back on your game fast.
Nachos, of course, are the key to a great double play.
Rolaids, R-O-L-A-I-D-S, spells relief.
You know that grand slam last week?
Okay, sir, you're all set. We got you signed up with all your movie channels.
Great.
You got 4 Stars, 7 HBOs, 5 Showtimes. We also got you signed up for your local channels.
Beautiful.
No charge for installation.
Cool, thanks.
Okay. Signature?
Sure.
Yeah. Take care.
Take care.
Now get free professional installation when you buy a DirecTV system and sign up for Total Choice programming.
You don't have to buy a ticket for the biggest movie events of the year because CBS is bringing them to a television near you. Only the #1 movie network will bring you superstars in once-in-a-lifetime roles. Blockbusters that are out of this world. Julie Andrews in a Live on Golden Pond movie and Matthew Modine in Jim Henson's Jack and the Beanstalk. You bring the popcorn, we'll do the rest. It's all here every CBS Sunday, America's Night at the Movies.
The Subway Postgame Show is sponsored by Subway, showing the world how great a fresh-made sandwich can taste. Subway, eat fresh.
Welcome back to the Subway Post-Game Show. Jim Nance here in New York. And a reminder, college basketball is coming your way shortly. And some of you will see North Carolina against UCLA. The two storied programs will battle it out at Pauley Pavilion. Others will watch Kansas at Ohio State. And a reminder, you can log on to CBS Sports Line and check out how today's game affected the playoff races and conference standings. Just click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword is CBS Sportsline. Let's take a look at the NFC playoff picture now. And again, with the Giants securing home field, now we're waiting for one other team to take a home field position, if you will, in a first-round bye. Minnesota can clinch it if it can beat Indianapolis tomorrow. And the Saints, they could try to take advantage if the Vikings were to fall to the Colts. So those two will jockey it out tomorrow. And, you know, we really, let's face it, guys, a month ago, we never imagined anyone other than the Vikings having home field for the NFC.
I tell you, nobody imagined a month ago that 3 teams from the NFC Central might get into playoffs. It looks like Detroit's going to get in if they win. And you got Minnesota in there, and then you got Tampa Bay in there. I don't think anybody expected that. 2 coming out of the East with Philadelphia and New York. That's very surprising. This is a whole different lineup than last year.
I think the real surprise, though, is the fact that the New Orleans Saints are really in there right now. I mean, truly, you know, we talk about MVPs and coaches of the years and all that stuff. You need to wait till this thing plays out before you start making those ballot picks out there, because right now, if they go in, the Saints do and win this game, Jim Haslett has to be considered. I know Fassel's done a nice job. Fassel's a good coach and did a great job.
Well, I agree with that 100%. I said earlier, I said it's between Jim Fassel and Jim Haslett. I really believe that. They brought their teams the furthest way. The Saints had 3 wins last year, and you know, to end up with down.
I think you know all so well about that.
Hey, who's going to come into the Giants into Giant Stadium? You take the 2 teams behind them right now, and the seeds, if you will, if it falls that way, are both dome teams, Minnesota and New Orleans. And having to come to New York in January in the cold and try to win a game there, who do you give the best chance to?
Well, I do the New Orleans because I think they're more physical. I think they play a good type physical football on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. But talking about Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that you set me up there, because I think the Bucs, and they got an advantage going here. They get to go play Green Bay this weekend out in the cold elements. That helps them a lot, because right now Kerry Collins has the confidence that if it's a cold, nasty day outside, he knows how to throw the ball in that. That's going to really help Sean King.
And one last thing on the NFC, the St. Louis Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions, they're still in it. But it's going to be very difficult. You've assured us now that the Bears are going to beat the Lions. That's what has to happen. They have to have the Bears beat the Lions, and the Rams have to beat the Saints.
There's always a remote possibility, but the Rams are not going to beat the Saints.
The Rams are not going to be the Saints.
No, they're not.
Okay.
No.
All right, let's take a look at the AFC side, and a lot of things to be settled tomorrow. That huge Jets-Baltimore game. Tennessee, even though it has the best record, has not clinched the AFC Central with the one-game lead over Baltimore, but Tennessee doesn't play until Monday night against Dallas. The Ravens will still try to press them if they can beat the Jets tomorrow. And Denver's taking on the 49ers later today. You've got Oakland. That thing out in the West is still not over either. Oakland tomorrow will host Carolina, and, of course, so much riding on what the Broncos will do this afternoon. The AFC East is just wide open. Miami's in with a win and would win the division. The Jets would make the playoffs with a victory. And you've got Indianapolis and Pittsburgh still alive.
I think the team, the question is who can go in if Tennessee has home field advantage in the playoffs and win at Tennessee. And right now, I would lean to Baltimore because they've done it. November the 12th, they went in and they won, and they came in with Trent Dilfer taking them down the field. Nobody thought they could do that. That's a tough place. That's the first loss they'd had at Adelphia Stadium.
Well, their defense is so good. I think anytime you got a defense that plays like Baltimore, I mean, you got a chance to win any football game. And the other strange thing, now I know Indianapolis has a long way to go. If they can get in it, they got enough firepower and offense to make it interesting. Yeah.
All right, Miami's going to need New England to beat Indianapolis is going to need New England to beat Miami tomorrow. And it's going to be cold up there at Foxborough. That could certainly happen. All right, we'll continue on the Subway post-game show here on CBS in just a moment.
You remember Jared from Subway? Turns out he's inspired a lot of people.
It's still looking good to show you the way. His name is Jared, and he'll lead you to Subway. That's where it goes, along with the rest. For 7 sandwiches with 6 grams of fat or less.
What an inspiration. Subway. Eat fresh.
Who's the man?
What's tonight?
Dinner at Spago, boss.
Excellent. Shouldn't you be making toys?
We're digital now. We get the toys done in half the time.
Yeah? Oh, Kiki, can you fit me in for a foot massage?
Rugged Montana from Pontiac. It's nimble enough to tame the dusty trail. Pretty handy for life's twists and turns.
Never seen a minivan do that before. Maybe it's not really a minivan.
Life is more exciting in Montana. Now rope a rugged Montana with this limited time offer by Pontiac.
She will always remember Christmas 2000. How is up to you. A diamond is forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, check it out, John. Back by popular demand. Check it out, John. Are they crazy? Once again. Check it out, John. Automated on the Vader. Check it out.
The NFL customized jersey. Choose any team, any name, any number. Call 1-877-NFL-SHOP.
The Subway postgame show is sponsored by Subway, showing the world how great a fresh-made sandwich can taste. Subway, eat fresh.
And we're back on the Subway postgame show. Be sure to join us tomorrow at our usual time, noon Eastern, for another edition of the NFL Today. We're going to sort out the complete playoff picture, and Leslie Visser will sit down with the Jets head coach Al Groh as he gets set for that big battle against Baltimore. Marcus Allen checks in on the Steelers, who are hanging on to the slimmest glimmer of playoff hopes. Jill Arrington will report live from the Superdome, where the Rams and Saints have a huge NFC matchup. And Tony Siragusa, will hear him sounding off a week ago when he was mic'd during a game.
1, 2, 3, dominate!
You can't even imagine how tough it is to run against him for one reason. Tony Siragusa, you can't push him.
You can't get a body on him. He is unblockable.
We'll have all of that tomorrow with the Goose on the NFL Today. Leads up to game time, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Most of the nation will see that game. Jets needing to win to get into the playoffs, or there are other scenarios, but they would get in with just a victory, and taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Others will see Miami, huge game for the Dolphins against New England. Others late will get the Pittsburgh-San Diego game. Coming up next, the road to the Final Four on CBS. Let's check in at Pauley Pavilion. Vern Lundquist and Billy Packer will be calling the game.